Welcome to the Bear Tiger Podcast, episode 9. We've got Joshua White. How are you?
Yo, all good, mate.
And Mark Raven.
I'm here and very, very well.
Mark, you've just come back from Brocket Hall. Is that right, this morning?
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
Little trip out there doing some performance work?
Yep. Nice young fella, 15-year-old, obviously playing in the under-16 category at the Faldo Series this week. Yeah, he was looking really good. I caught the first 9 holes before I had to come back here, and he was playing nicely.
Yeah, he's a good little player, is Alex.
Yep.
It's amazing. I mean, I played the Faldo Series at Brocket Hall. I mean, what date is it today? God, probably 20 odd years ago, and it's gone from strength to strength at Faldo Series.
Yeah, I mean it's double. So it's all day starts. So there's an AM and a PM, and it's absolutely rammed. And yeah, from what I saw in the prep, in the warming up and things like that, a lot of good players. Like the talent level is crazy.
These kids are literally like living the dream. Josh, did you play any of those?
I did.
Bits?
I played at Brocket Hall as well. I played with Tom Lewis actually. Remember him he was so far ahead when we were young. He was like the man. And it's quite tree lined, isn't it, at Brockets? And it was quite wet, and he was just hitting these long irons that were just making this noise that were just like
good,
unbelievable.
Yeah, you know the first hole there that's on the hill.
Yep.
Because it's so dry, these kids are having to literally hit it into the trees up on the left to try and just hope that it doesn't pick up enough speed down the hill that it goes in the hazard on the right.
Joking.
No,
wow.
Honestly, it's nearly unplayable.
I mean, golf at the moment, some golf courses is mental, isn't it? I'm not a massive fan of the when it gets yellow and bouncy and so forth. What about you boys?
No, I quite like my wrists, to be honest.
And you get all the chat, everyone's like, yeah, I hit it 340 down there. Like, yeah, of course you did. Hard pan down the wind. Well done.
It's quite hard visually, I find. Like I like definition. That's why I've struggled around links courses. I need for the visual, I need definition. I need things to pick out. And when everything goes the same sort of
colour,
yeah, it's for me. There's no definition between cuts. It's very hard to see the semi to the fairway to the fringe. It loses a bit of focus for me when I'm out there. So I much prefer a lush golf course.
Yeah, and any shape, if you shape it at all, it just sods off, doesn't it? Into the shit, basically.
Yeah.
Which is absolutely no fun at all. But hopefully, had a bit of rain, and the golf courses are going to come back. I've had enough of this dry golf now, this summer stuff. Yep. Bring on the winter. Can't wait. The UK winter. Right, Josh, what have you been up to?
Not much, mate. I was actually over at Wentworth this morning.
All right.
Yeah.
Drop that one in there.
Yeah. Ended up playing. We had a little play on the par 3 course, which was quite fun. They're all little short holes. The longest hole was 150 yards, but other than that, they're from 50. Well, probably one of them. Just vary all the way up, but really small greens and just real good for the wedge play. Yeah,
great for practice. I mean, actually, we'll talk a bit about PGA Tour coming up. One thing from watching the PGA Tour this week was watching Rory. It just seems like he's turned the corner with his wedges. Every time they dialed in and he came on the coverage and a wedge shot, he just hit it inside 10 feet every single time. He looked confident and he's giving it a funny little follow through, working the ball in there. He's really, I don't know if you guys have seen it, but for me, he's really turned the corner.
He nearly landed it in a hole a few times. He actually hit a pin a couple of times yesterday as well, didn't he?
Yeah, he's obviously he's changed his technique a touch, and he's obviously getting those numbers dialed in. And I think we're going to see some really good things. So that does bring us into chatting about the PGA Tour this week, the penultimate event before the Tour Championship and the FedEx Cup playoffs. I quite like it. I think it's actually starting to get a bit more. It's kind of pick up a bit of steam, this FedEx thing. When they started it a few years ago, I was thinking, do we need that? We've got a Tour Championship, that's fine, but seeing players come through like the bubble number of guys in and out of the top 30.
Dare I say it? Is it a bit more entertaining because it's got something else going on, like Live?
I think from my point of view, just in general, it just brings the extra to like the normal 4-round tournament.
Yeah,
normal 4-round tournament. It's like who's going to win, who's not going to win. Takes a long time to get going. But when you watch the telly and you can see when someone has a putt, say from 10 feet, and it's showing not only their score, which they might be middle of the pack in the tournament, but it's showing how that will affect who's in next week, who's not in.
Yeah, that was cool. That was really cool to watch. And obviously the biggest one for that yesterday, watching it, was I really wanted to get through with Shane Lowry.
Yeah, it was good,
on the mark all day, but then I'm sure we'll come to it. But that bunker shot that Adam Scott hit on 18 was just absolutely outrageous.
Just unbelievable, isn't it? Yeah, there's something there when you think someone like Shane Lowry, he's sitting there probably got his phone in his hand thinking, right, do I book this jet to Atlanta or where's it going, Atlanta or Dublin?
Yeah.
And it all come down to, Adam Scott came through. Yeah, let's talk about that. Then, we'll get on to Patrick Cantlay's amazing win in a minute, but just the Adam Scott, that bunker shot on 18. So he come up at the last. It was basically birdie was going to take him much closer to 20th place. A par was going to basically get him just in to Eastlake into the Tour Championship, and a bogey would have pushed him just outside. He hit his tee shot down the left, and he got in an awkward spot in the bunker. Ball standing in the bunker, ball outside the bunker. Long chat with the caddy where we're going to hit it. Kind of spooned it left into the trap, and then he's got a 35-yard bunker shot, upper tier, and off and upslope,
and it looked like there was a load of sand in that bunker. And as a player, as you know, for a long bunker shot, you don't want loads of sand.
You want a downhill lie, don't you?
Yeah, you kind of just want it like when it's just so hard to get that depth control, because you can just hit the sand and the ball can just come out so dead, can't it? When there's a load in there, especially when you got to carry it all the way as well. Load of sand, you can duff and run it, but that was pinpoint perfect, to be fair to him.
And weird enough, I think he played some good golf as a main, but he just had this issue. I don't know if you saw any of it, but on the par threes, he kept on just hitting this like push cut, and he was actually fading it a lot, which is actually not very much like Adam Scott. We know he's a drawer of the ball, and I was doing this commentary thing, going, Adam Scott, he's picking off, he's hitting great shots, and he's not holding putts, and his long game's on. Then all of a sudden he'd hit like this. I'm not going to say it was shank, but he kept on hitting this push cut that was starting the right hand bunker and then cut right at the bunker. I was thinking, where's that coming from?
Yeah, I see.
And he looked a bit nervy almost.
He left one behind the tree, didn't he? He was on the first day when he hit one of them shots and he got stymied behind the tree. But I did see that a couple of times, but you obviously watched more than me, and I didn't know that was an occurring thing with him, which is quite unlike him, really, isn't it?
Yeah, it was. But this is a man who was way outside getting to the top 30. He's top 10 in the 2 weeks, both weeks in the FedEx Cup, to get himself into that.
But to be fair as well, before the 18th, didn't he? He made that eagle, which
down
was
the hill.
Unbelievable.
Yeah,
eagle
great.
He made there.
Front pin over water, 205, and just hit that high soft landing. I think he actually hit 5 on, took a bit more club, brought it in soft and rolled the putt in. But he'd missed so many putts up to that point.
Yeah, typical golf. What did he do on the next hole?
Yeah, then go bogey. Yeah, gives it all back, all back.
Exactly.
But yeah, what a mustard bunker shot that was to leave him. Yeah. I think if he'd leave himself 6 feet, he probably would have missed it.
But both players, Lowry, you could say he could have.
He held a bunker shot.
But he also free putted 17.
Yeah.
And then he had another free putt as well on that hole where there was a bowl. Everyone was putting down that hill. Cantlay left it really short.
Yeah, that's right.
But he was like a slightly softer bounce. It was rolling all the way back down to the hole. And, he could be 2 or 3 shots better. Instead, he leaves it right on the crest of the hill, puts it down, leaves it like 3 foot short, then missed a 3 foot putt.
Nightmare. Absolute nightmare.
It's interesting though, isn't it? It's great entertainment, but it's at the bottom end essentially of the field. Like you're not really got your eyes on what's happening at the top, and even moving into next week, like who wins it? It's a very small amount of guys that can do any good next week in terms of winning. But it's interesting, isn't it? How do you've got the entertainment at the bottom end, but you've lost it at the top. How, from the coverage point of view, and we're talking about all these other tours and the formats, etc.
That's what they're trying to do, aren't they? That's what the team event is in Live. They're trying to get that, so there is a constant something going on that you're looking for the whole field, not just for the top.
But it's funny, isn't it? Very rarely on the PGA Tour are you looking down the cut area or it's all top end, top heavy.
Unless it's a tour school environment where you lose card, keep cards. Sort of thing.
I mean,
but that really is entertaining, isn't it?
Friday cut show would be it is actually really entertaining. Because yesterday, what's great when you watch the coverage is you want to see, it's a bit like you want to see the coverage bouncing around for different stories. Then it's gripping and it's exciting because you're bouncing from one end, which is like, Cantlay, Scheffler, all like, going for the win. That was a tough one. I kept on trying to, when I was doing the commentary, I was thinking, don't get these two mixed up, right? That's Scheffler and Scheffler. It gets a bit tricky. But you're looking at that part, and then the other end is like, seeing around that bubble, it's a completely different type of pressure. And one guy that I was so happy to see get through is Sahith Tagala. I mean, that geezer, he's been brilliant all year. He's had a couple of opportunities that have not gone his way, but he would have started the year more than happy to keep his card.
Yeah.
And he's bounded through. And yesterday he was clutch down that back nine, made 3 back-to-back birdies, made a big putt on the last to to get into that top 30, and that was just mustard.
He's so open, isn't he, with his emotions as well? Like he says he's nervous all the time. He says like how he's feeling, so like raw. But I was quite lucky to go out to the waste management at Phoenix, and that was like his first I seen of him, and that was when he was coming down the 18th, and he got that bad bounce, on 17, and went into the piss up on the left, into the water, and but he was just warm to the crowd so much, like everyone loved him, and it was great to watch, and to see him take that confidence from that event, when really it could have sent him the other way, having such a bad break. But he just took all the good stuff from it, and he's just snowballed from there on. Do
you think he's in that mode where, because it's his first year, it's all exciting and that's great, and you don't win, but you're just happy to have done well? You know, if that was year 2, year 3, year 4, I think we might see a bit of a different player. He might be actually a bit pissed off that he hasn't won, and don't feed off the confidence like he did there, maybe. But that first year, you're just happy to be there, right?
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree. But yeah, just a ledge, just buzzing he's there. Yeah,
it's brilliant to see, and that's the exciting part. He's like there fist pumping. Aaron Wise is another one. He was fist pumping down. You're thinking these guys are out of the mix, and that's what we want, really. Yeah, there are quite a few. Let's admit, there are quite a few PGA Tour events, which you kind of watch him, but you think, I could switch off here. This is it's not much. It is obviously great that someone's going to earn a massive check, but it's not that gripping. But we are getting to that part of the season now, and like it or not, the playoffs do provide something a bit different. How they can get this kind of feel more during midway through the season around the majors is probably another question that we'll probably get into. But yeah, it was good to see. And anyway, Patrick Cantlay, when he gets in the mix, he's so hard to beat. He's just, oddly enough, I don't think he doesn't look like he has a classical golf swing, but he doesn't necessarily have that metronomic type of golf swing that you would see with someone like with DJ, a little bit like with Rory when he gets going. John Rahm, they had that shot shape. You just think, that's his shape. Whereas you watch Patrick Cantlay, it's like, actually, what way does he move it? Yeah. He actually hits it both ways, and it sometimes it just looks random, like he aims straight, and sometimes it draws, sometimes it fades. And I don't mean that in a bad way to him. He just looks quite. He's a bit more of an old school player. Kind of, he's a bit rolly for impact. He's quite like, he's not the new age of holding the club face off and having a really stable club face. It is quite active, but he just knows how to get the job done.
Yeah, I don't know his stats, but from what I look at him, I love watching that guy putt. He's my favourite guy to him and Cam Smith. I just love watching putt. But he just looks like he's got an unbelievable wedge play. He hits it pin high all the time, and he just putts unreal. That's what it looks like to me. The rest of his game is just good enough to be there. Is that true? I don't know. That's just what it looks like from how I watch him. Yeah,
I mean, pretty much. He's obviously he's a playoff specialist, having won 3 of them in the last 2 years. Looking good for his next week. But yeah, you said about his putting there. He's in that realm of like, it's always, doesn't matter if he's 30 feet away. It's a bit of a surprise if the ball doesn't go in.
Yeah.
Where you can see some players are trying to putt to get it close. You'd watch, say, like Adam Scott or someone, you're thinking, okay, he's rolling it down there. Will it go in? Maybe, maybe not. But you're just thinking, he's looking to get this ball to like stop on the edge of the cup and fall in. No matter whether it's from like 4 feet or from 35 feet, which not all the players have.
Bit of a head's gone for you.
Go on then.
Why be so boring?
Yeah, he's not everyone's cup of tea, is he?
But like, he just won that event. He won all that dough. Just like have a little bit of something about it on the 18th. I don't know what it is. Like,
yeah, his missus came running onto the green, gave him a little, it was like a little peck. He was like, all right, love, get out of the way.
Yeah,
got somewhere to go here. You thought he would have, got in there and been a bit elated, had nothing.
But interestingly, do you think that's the environment again? I mean, we've all become so used. They've become used to it. We've become used to it. The PGA Tour and their setup. There's no big hurrah at the end, is there? Like, and I think
that comes to the players, though, doesn't it? Can you think like Tiger just celebrates, doesn't he?
Yeah,
and he would celebrate, and you always got that feeling like he wasn't celebrating for no one else but himself because he was into it. But yeah, like the whole tip the hat, yeah, that's cool. Just won like a few more million.
Yeah, but it puts like a little full stop on the event. Like it's just won. Like you just have a bit of a Tiger fist pump or something like that, or a little tear, or I don't know what it is. But you're just like, okay, that's finished now. Like turn it off.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, they didn't have Amanda on the green afterwards to do the winner's chat, and she's quite good at getting someone to get a bit teary. Maybe that's what he needed. But yeah, he just seems a bit like he's a bit sterile.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why he's so good, because he doesn't have so many highs, doesn't have his lows are not as low.
Well, that's
Just
why his nickname is
level-headed.
Patty Ice, isn't it? He give nothing away. He's a bit of an Iceman, isn't he? But maybe we'll get a bit more from him next week
Yeah,
if he wins that for the second time.
maybe that's why. Like what's his name? I'm going to murder his name. Tringali. You're going to let me say it.
Cameron Tringali.
Yeah.
Triangle. Triangle.
Yeah.
Trianguli.
But someone like that, like I would much rather see him win.
Can you imagine if when Tagala wins,
Yeah.
he'll be
There
blubbering
you go.
over the green, won't he? There you go. Tagala. Is that who you were talking about?
Yeah.
Oh, not Tringali.
Not
Cameron
Tringali.
I
Yeah.
was thinking that, yeah, Tagala. Yeah, there we go. Anyway, yeah, so we probably should mention Scotty Scheffler. Well, number one. Kind of up there again. He's been a bit quiet through the last few months. Like, he was obviously had that amazing run, had that really good purple patch. Since then, he's kind of been in the top 10, always there, but not really in the mixer. This week was the first time in the mix again.
Yeah.
Good to see, kind of stepping up. Then John Rahm, you haven't seen him for a little while. I think he could be bubbling up towards something towards next week.
Put his foot on the accelerator, didn't he, over the weekend? What was it, 65, 67, was it?
Yeah, he had a pretty slow start, 70, 73, and then he did, 65, 60, was it 65, 67?
Something like that.
But yeah, he just looked a lot better. I feel like him and Rory have just kind of stepped it up. They've both been, they've not won the amount of times you think they will, but they both looked really strong this week, I thought.
Amount of times you watch Rory though, and he finishes 3 or 4 off the lead, and you just think he could have won that by so
He had
far.
that triple early in the tournament, didn't he?
Yeah,
And
on a
just
par
took
three,
himself
yeah.
out of it.
But
Yeah.
Again, he's had a bad putting week. I keep watching him putt, and I think, what is it? There's just something there that's uncomfortable. Like, he's so stiff and rigid, and then when he looks down the line, it's like he looks over his shoulder. It doesn't
That bit
look
is a
like.
bit odd, isn't it?
I don't know if it's like when he hits his driver, like his left shoulder is quite high, which is good for a driver because you set up quite on a tilt to hit on the up. But it kind of like is like that with his.
If you see his stroke, he hits the ball. If it's a bit off, he hits the ball a long way up the ball, doesn't he?
Yeah.
So the bottom of the putter hits almost half out the ball sometimes. He had one yesterday, kind of just jumped up, and if anything, like if he misses a putt, he misses it right.
Yeah.
Almost where the club's coming up and then he's holding it off sometimes. He has had putted well for a long time this year, but when it's off, that seems to be the one.
It does make sense then, of that being.
Yeah, that seems to be the one. It's a bit frustrating, but just feel like he's going to have a week sooner or later where he just doesn't have the one bad hole and he'll romp it.
Did you see his driving stats this week? Every single drive he hit was over 300 yards.
He's some boy, isn't he?
Mental, isn't it?
And way more than 300 yards.
It's up on the driver.
Yeah.
That just seeps through into his putting a little bit.
Exactly, that's what I mean.
Sits up in
Same
his putting a
setup,
little
yeah.
bit.
Just rips it.
Let's text him.
Full send.
Yeah, let's get him on the DMs on Twitter or something like that.
Yeah, I am available, Rory, if he...
Your shoulders come up a little bit.
Yeah.
But then he might start hitting down the putter and he might start hitting down the driver and start hitting it like 270.
How often do you see that in coaching though? Like the traits that go through the game, like it is unbelievable.
We should probably mention Will Zalatoris had to pull out. Big kick in the nuts out for him, really. Number one leading the FedEx Cup, having to pull out because he injured his on the third or fourth hole in the third round, hit a tee shot and tweaked something in his back, and then that was it. He was playing with Griot, had to let a couple of groups go through, and he was trying everything he could to try and get fit again. He had the trainer out in the course, but it just wasn't quite right.
So did they have to let all the groups through, and then all of a sudden the geezer's play on his own?
Yeah, then Griot had to play on his own. What
a nightmare.
As his head's gone. Yeah, that's a tough one. But Mark, you've had some back injuries and so forth, and been all through that. I mean, from a mental point of view, that's so frustrating, isn't it? When your body just won't let you do what you need to do, especially when you're playing well and you're leading something. The last thing you want to do is pull out.
No. And it's like, so physically it's an issue, but now mentally it becomes an issue. I should imagine he's found it very difficult to continue that round, but now he's got to find a way of getting ready for next week. And now it becomes a bit of a mental thing as well. It's just so hard. And obviously I've never been in that position that close to winning the FedEx Cup, but I should imagine it's absolutely gutting to have to walk up and make that call. And as you say, you find a way, you try and find a way, don't you, to just get it done. And I've played plenty of rounds in my life where I shouldn't have even bothered teeing off, and it just it cumulatively gets worse and worse and worse, and everything gets worse and worse and worse. But you just try and find a way. And obviously he couldn't. It must have been pretty bad.
Must have been pretty bad. Also, do you reckon that maybe part of it was I'm better off leaving now, give myself a few days, and hope to get this right by Monday, Tuesday, to give myself a run up into next week. So if I win next week, I still get it done, rather than even just trying to get through the next 2 days means that puts him out Monday, Tuesday, doing it, trying to find out what's gone on.
Definitely.
And then Wednesday's on the tournament again.
Yeah, 100%. And they were, you know, maybe they tried to, like you said, they had the physio out there, try and find a quick fix. If it was just a click, you know, then fine, crack on. But obviously it wasn't that. And probably a great call. We'll see by the end of next week. But probably a great call, as you say, to buy yourself that window of time. Because if it isn't something major, you can turn that around within 48 hours and he should be good to go come Thursday this week.
I think it's a fatigue injury. So that's why he's going to take the time out. There was in not play the rest of it, try and get through it, because it obviously needs a rest. Do you think he hasn't won before? But when he won, it was how many playoff holes as well.
Yeah.
So it's been an unbelievable long week with the playoff holes, plus all the press afterwards, standing around and
he doesn't have a very like low maintenance on your body kind of golf swing, does he? You know, he's a bit of a rubber band man. You think, and he actually sets up which we all know, we're like the 300 golfers, aren't we? Like with backs and that sort of stuff. To have like the straight back and the flex knees, that setup, and it does look like he puts some strain on his back when a lot of torque, in having to move and put yourself in those positions, which does happen, doesn't it? As a good player, you will sacrifice your body to hit the shot you need to hit, rather than someone who's not as good. They'll kind of like sacrifice a shot to get their body to move a certain way, and he is a bit that way. And I'm not saying I don't know that's the actual case, and it might be nothing to do with it, but it does seem, Adam Scott, he's adapted his technique, his setup over the years to accommodate any injuries, not had any injuries. Colin Montgomery never had any injuries, they all have a much softer address than he has.
If you just lined him up in say 50 players on a PGA Tour, and with his swing and his body, if you had to pick someone someone's going to say to you, someone's going to get a back injury, you'd probably pick him. Yeah. It just looks that way. It just goes into some of these ranges of his swing, and you just think you got to be seriously strong to. Yeah,
and he does. I mean, and he moves so fast, doesn't he?
Yeah,
he's so good. He actually goes against the grain. A lot of the modern golf stuff, a bit of a cup wrist on the top, open face on the way down. He kind of, has a different setup. Whereas, a lot of the youngsters being taught now, it's much easier to go like flat wrist. Yeah. Not much face rotation, softer in the setup. So it'd be interesting to see whether this is just a complete one-off. But it is something you look at, you think, he's going to do himself injury at some point, but he hasn't done. And then, as you say, maybe a bit tired. Body's gone, not having that.
He's not. He hasn't won, so something new to him.
Because he won, he got a back injury.
Well, did he actually get one? Because he started getting the yips again. I saw a couple of dodgy putts.
Oh God, yeah.
Maybe he didn't want it to seep in.
It looked like one of them looked like he hit the ground so hard, I didn't think he was going to get the club back to the ball.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my God.
So maybe he just thought he wanted to go and clear his head for next week and didn't want to keep yipping it for the rest.
Even that dodgy stroke, it's kind of worked this year, and then all of a sudden now it's just like he's had the last 2 weeks. He's got that doesn't
I think
work
after a win, it would be the time for it to go away.
Whose clip is worse, Lucas Glover's or Will Zalatoris's? Lucas Glover's won ages ago in the US Open. Which would you rather not watch if you had the choice? They were both pretty bad, weren't they?
I think Glover's is worse. A standard putter always looks worse on the yip than a broom, I think.
When he hits it just out the heel. on the Cameron bit.
Yeah.
They're both pretty bad. It's actually, I think it's quite an achievement to put strokes like that bad in that shorter space of time of a stroke.
Els was bad, wasn't it? The first.
That one at the Masters. Oh,
the 4 or 5.
That was brutal.
That was bad.
Yeah.
First hole of an event as well. That's a long.
Yeah, it's amazing. We as a local doctor that we know, a South African guy who's friends with him, we're staying in his house that week, and that happened on the first hole. And what did he do? He 5 or 6 putted, didn't he?
Yeah, it was something
shocking.
Mad, yeah.
And this is Ernie Els, way into his career. Achieved, won all the majors and everything. And he asked him what had kind of happened. And he just said it was just nerves. He just wanted to win so badly. He's just been pushing himself so much that it all kind of came to fruition. I found that amazing. You would think Ernie Els, well into his 40s, won all the majors, he'd go to the Masters, proper chilled out. But even at that point, he's still in his head. He's grinding so much, it's kind of pushed him towards having a meltdown on the first green. I just thought that just amazed me. I did not expect that whatsoever. Have you guys had any putting issues like that?
I used to really struggle on the second hole. Sometimes I couldn't even feel my arms, and it wasn't because I was playing in it wasn't a massive moment. It would be more often than not. I think it was just a realization that this, means that this is the beginning of it meaning something for 18 holes, and it would not be an issue moving forward. It was maybe like the first 2 putts, but really, really weird. Like, and it wouldn't be because I was worried about my technique, or it would just turn up. It was anxiety, really, at the end of the day. Yeah. And then it would shake itself off, as I say, within a hole or two, and then I'd be absolutely fine. It wouldn't always happen either, but sometimes I just walk up to the 4-footer, whatever it is, for birdie or par on the first, and just be like, oh, no, I can't feel my arms.
It's so odd that when something like that hits you, isn't it? It's so odd. I mean, my mum used to come and watch me when she, back in the day, and she said that she could never watch me putt, so she'd always like, have to walk off or like close her eyes or turn around. And I remember just thinking, what are you talking about? Like, that's like the easy bit. What you don't want to watch is the tee shot. I'm thinking I might never see this ball again. That's the nervy bit, but everyone has their own little pieces, don't they? Where it's different for everyone. One of my pals growing up, he was a good player, played a bit on the tour. Kieran Staunton, you would know him. So we used to play foursomes golf together, like for the county and so forth. And he would, more often than not, for some reason, he had a decent stroke, but he'd just miss really short putts sometimes. And it was just something that happened from 2 feet, he'd just miss it. And I'd be like saying, and I had that conversation with him, like, don't worry, mate. Like the putting's the easy bit, but his viewpoint. He was a really straight hitter. He just put me in play every single time. Just didn't see him lose a ball for about 15 years. His argument was, no, it's much easier to hit a fairway than it is to knock a putt in, because you can fit like 15,000 golf balls across a fairway, but like a golf ball, will, like only 2.5 balls fit in the hole. That's the way he thought, and I was thinking, no, but that's only there to there. Everyone has those little things in their head, don't they? All a bit different.
Yeah.
What about you, Josh? Anything parts of the game that make you nervous?
No, I'd say with the putting side of it, I've definitely had it on a last day of a tournament or something like that, where leaving putt short, like struggle to get it to the hole where you're a bit tense and being free. I've had that.
I don't think you're alone on that one. I think that's the most common fault for elite players, isn't it? When you're under the gun.
On fast greens, I don't get that. It's okay because you can just sort of get it going.
Less friction. Yeah.
But when the greens are slow and the greens are not good,
can't get it there.
Uphill putts as well.
No, I can't understand, right, when people go, never up, never in. Or make sure you get, if it's a putt for a half or something like that, like make sure you get it so you whack it, at least I got it there. Like, it makes no sense, because like, to me, I'm like, also, you do realise the putt that goes past the hole also hasn't gone in. You just hit it too hard now.
Yeah, and it missed its line.
makes no sense to me. Just hold a freaking putt.
Yeah.
Just hit a good putt. Simple as that.
It's like in foursomes, isn't it? Should I go first so you can go for yours?
I'm going for it anyway. Trying to make
difference.
this. Yeah, I don't get it. Absolutely don't get it.
It's gone.
So well, it's not quite a head's gone, but yeah, it's in there. So there was some other stuff on the PGA Tour last week, which we'll get to. Actually, talking of the head's gone, the DP World Tour, I didn't get to see it. I was busy yesterday. I'm not sure if you guys got to see it. I'm not going to lie, the DP World Tour is really taking third or fourth fiddle in it at the moment in the golf chat and entertainment business. It's not really getting much coverage at all. But going on that, Matt Kiefer was the winner. But he is also, my head's gone, because I think last winter, I was staying at a hotel in Dubai, and it was in January, and there was a tournament going on in Dubai, and we're going up to, I think we're actually going to one other venues to go and practice. We're going to one other venues to go and practice, and Titleist had, it's where they set up camp at the back of the range, and they invite all their players down and people who, use the brand and stuff to come and get fitted with all the tour guys. And it's a really good setup, because they have a couple of guys doing long game and driver, then they have Will doing the wedges part of it, then they have the ball fitting. It's quite a good setup they have up at Jumeirah Golf Estates. So you get booked in for the day and then you leave. Anyway, so I come out, had breakfast. Matt Kiefer's on he's on the table like just across the way. And I looked at my watch, I'm thinking, right, I should set off now. I know that he's the tightest place. We're going to the same place, right? So anyway, I get up, start walking. And there's one taxi outside the hotel. And we know, we've nodded at each other. We know who each other are. So we're kind of walking out, and there's one taxi. You think, oh, lovely, I'll make that. That's cool. And as I'm getting there, we both go kind of like, we're going through the doors at a similar sort of time, and I'm just ahead of him, and he jogs past me and gets in the freaking taxi and just shut the door. And I was thinking, is he having a laugh? You can see that on where I'm going. He's run past me and got in the taxi and shut the door, didn't ask me, nothing. I'm thinking, I'm going to the same place, you idiot. So then I had to wait a few minutes for the next taxi to get there, and then literally get to the golf club. Then you go to the little bag drop bit, And like he's standing there with his clubs. I'm like, this geezer. And then the guy comes round from the golf op. So I want to lift down to the back of the range. Like, yes. So now we're sat in the same buggy to the back of the range. But he's nicked my taxi and didn't. If it was me, I would have been like, you going to the same place or whatever? Like,
Yeah.
that is, yeah. I could have slapped him.
Did he not? Did he not acknowledge you on the other side? Did he not say, sorry, I didn't realise?
Well, no, he was just awkward then. He's just like, he wouldn't even look at me. I couldn't believe it. Yeah, but you know what that is? That is just, that's the one bit I don't like about tour golf. Is like the tour players, and I don't think I did it myself. There is like a weird, maybe I did do it. I apologise to anybody from how many years ago if I did do it. But for some people, there's like a weird entitlement, isn't there? To like, I'm on tour, I'm the player here, so I come first.
Yeah.
And you see that quite a bit. You know, sometimes there's been players over the way they talk to caddies and that sort of stuff. Yeah. And I could never get that because I was always like, the caddy's a geezer as well, and he's doing his job, and he's arguably as good at his job as I am at my job. The part of hitting the ball is kind of the icing on the cake, isn't it? So I could never get my head around the way that some players would talk to their caddies as if, I don't know, not slaves is a strong word, but like their butler or something like that. Yeah. I just found that really, really.
It was quite funny you say that. The two of them stories sort of mix into one for me. So I played with Max Kiefer out in Qatar in the Qatar Masters.
Oh, he's not a friend of this pod, is he?
And yeah, also played with Ollie Fish.
Yeah, I remember I walked around. Yeah.
And yeah, of course you were. He was out there. And so Fish, as we know, he's a legend. He's a great guy. He's a friend of ours. But with caddies, he can go off on one, can't he? As we know, he's gone for a few.
Very intense about his golf. Yeah,
he is. Yeah. So as you say, I wouldn't say I was bad at talking to him like a slave or whatever, but they do have that very direct, yeah, which was very new to me on that side of it. But then also there was some Marshalls people walking and stuff like that. And Charlie George was on my bag, and I always remember just Max Kiefer just shouting Marshall, like to getting everyone to stop. And there's probably
all 8 people walking around.
We're in like one of the last groups on the first day or whatever it was, and there was hardly anyone there, and he's just shouting out for these marshals to do their job, and I think they're actually just walking into the clubhouse to finish their day.
Yeah, we're done, mate. You're taking too long.
And so I remember him having head off there as well. Yeah, but that was funny.
Yeah, it is a funny. That's not all tour. Not all tour players are that highly strung or whatever it is, but there is that weird.
Yeah,
there's that weird thing about like because when you see the tours move around, having played and now been on the other side and like doing a bit, like we're doing here, or being in the media and seeing the overall like product, for want of a better word, you actually realise that it's a massive circus to which the players are actually a small part of it. You know, when you see all the TV crews and different media outlets, and then you see like the referees and the officials and people from the golf club and the volunteers, like everyone's there to see the golfers, but there's so much goes into it to give the golfers what they get. You just think sometimes, like, you just give them a little shake and go, just by the way, mate, no one actually knows who you are.
Yeah,
this all happens because of all these other people here.
I think we've gone through a phase though, haven't we, where all the psychologists and the mentors in golf, let's say a decade ago, were pushing everyone really hard to be like, you've got to believe that let's say you've got to act like Tiger, you've got to be basically a real dick and put on this front, can't let anyone in, it's all for show, you've got to act like you're going to win the tournament at every given point. And I think we're coming out the back of that now. I think what's happening with Tiger now is he's opening up towards the end of his career. I think people are starting to realise, not just because of that you don't have to have the front on the whole time. You don't have to be a dick. You can
in and out of that.
Yeah, exactly. There's a middle ground, and I think you are starting to see that with the younger generation now. They can sort of walk the line much better. They're better with the media, they're better with the public. Overall, you'll still get the odd guy that will be, all these tour players are pampered and they love it. And as you say, there's some people, there's an entitlement to it. But I think it probably is getting a little better than what we've experienced in the past.
Yeah, you hope so, wouldn't you?
Yeah,
I mean, someone like Jordan Spieth's been really good for that. I don't know, did you guys see in the third round, there was such a good bit of television where he'd kind of hit the front. So he got hit tied for the lead. And he's, it was just a moment, like, when we did the commentary, you kind of like, you're talking through, you tend to talk between, when the coverage or the shot comes to the player, you tend to talk between then and when they hit their shot and let it go. Unless there's a piece where the when the mics come up and then you can hear the player and the caddy talking, which is like a really good bit because that is the real insight. And so you kind of go quiet while you let them kind of take the show for a little while. And obviously when it flashes to Jordan Spieth, like the networks just know there's going to be chat, so the mics always go straight up. So you can literally, where we sit in the booth, you just turn your record bit off and you just sit there and you just, drinking your tea and have your Haribos or whatever while he just takes over. But there was this one bit where he's got this shot over water, second shot. Did you see it, Josh? See the clip? It's on my social media. I'll share it again. So he's hit the lead, third round early on, and he's in the fairway bunker on the left. It's a bit of a downhill second shot. Let's say it's like 170, 160 maybe. I think it was 160 down the hill. It's on a slight upslope, and it's like water short. So Greller's there, and he's going, we just wedge this out, knock it on, have a putt for par. And Spieth's going, yeah, but it's already on the upslope, and if I hit this club good, I've got this, no problem. And Greller's like really trying to talk him out of it, saying like it's just it's unnecessary. But Spieth's like, no, this is the club. Like, let me get in there and have a look. Yeah, I've got this. Like it'll go up, and it can tell Greller's just like, nah, this is wedge out. So he's like, they're backwards and forwards, and then it just gets to a point where Greller just goes, look, this is a Tuesday or Wednesday shot, not a Saturday shot. And Spieth's like, no, it's fine, I've got it. He said, tell you what, Michael, this one's on me. I'll take this one. This is not you. This one's on me. I'm going for it. And you can see Greller just rolled his eyes, like, well, you can't actually see him roll his eyes, but his mannerisms, like, he has his shades on, thinking, what's he doing? Like, picks up the bag, walks away. Spieth just gets in there and he just duffs it. And he just hits it fat and splash straight in the middle of the water. And then from that point, he just like completely capitulated. But it was almost like you could see Greller just being like, "Told you so." We've got the whole chat, just wouldn't let him have. But this is a Tuesday or Wednesday shot. You're like, yeah, you do that in a practice round, not when you're tired for the leader on Saturday. And he just went down from there. But it was we love it because this gives us like 5 minutes off while they're chatting about it.
Yeah, it's brilliant. He hit another shot, didn't he? I think it was on the first day or the second day. And the amount of swearing, the amount of times you have to apologise for him as well. Like, it is brilliant to watch. Yeah,
him and Tyrrell's the same as well. He's a great watch. Talking about like players being intense and whatever. Tyrrell's a bit that way. Like he's intense on the golf course and he's like swearing and hand signals, but he's all right after that. He'll take part. He'll take the mickey out of himself. Yeah. Does all the stuff he does with the European Tour. Like he's one of those kind of guys that's been able to keep the intenseness, but like knows that it's not real life.
Yeah, and it seems to be a key part of his performance. Like he needs that, and he knows he needs that, and I think that's great. He's a great guy to watch. Like, and I'd like to see. I think moving forward with the broadcasting, obviously the PGA Tour are probably going to have to change the way they do things in reaction to what else is going on with Live, etc. I think the more open mic stuff that you can get. The players have got nothing to hide, really. It's not a secret what they're going through with their caddies, and it doesn't really assist anyone else in that given moment. No one's going to gain anything on them. So why not open mic it? And for the most part in the UK, like most of the golf PGA coverage is after the threshold, so language isn't so much of an issue.
Red button golf would be must-have.
It would be. It'd be brilliant. So remember, you used to be able to do that with the football on Sky, wouldn't you? Where you'd got the two windows. You had the fan zone, and then you had the professional commentators. Just to have that option, how brilliant would that be? Yeah, an explicit version of golf.
Yeah. That would be good.
Because it does exist. Like we've spoon-fed this like very sort of PC version of golf. But the explicit version of golf is out there every single week, and it would be so funny to watch. It would be great. I'd tune into that over normal coverage if it was available.
Yeah, certainly through up to the point to the end of the tournament. You would definitely just give it a bit of juice. You would definitely do it around the cut and that sort of stuff. It'd be mustard, wouldn't it?
Yeah, because it's happening every Saturday and Sunday at your local golf course in your full ball, isn't it? So true, and you can guarantee it's happening down the stretch for these guys. Like,
that'd be mustard. Yeah. Right, so that gets us to about 40 minutes. We're going to take a little break and we'll come back for a little part 2 roundup.
Nice.
Right, part 2. We had a little break there, little part 2 for this week's pod. So we covered PGA Tour. We've kind of covered DP World Tour, what everyone's been up to. Now let's have a little chat about the dark side, a bit of live golf chat. There hasn't been a tournament, but there was a meeting. There's chat of more players going across, all that jazz, as there always seems to be. At some point, this is all going to peter out, isn't it? And it's there's going to be less chat about people moving and it is going to be what it is. But last week, a bunch of PGA Tour players met up at the tournament to have a little chat without the PGA Tour being there, just like a players' meeting. And even the GOAT man flew in on his jet. I don't know. Did you see the video when he came off his plane? And then
had to drive himself in his
drive
little Nissan hire car.
Yeah.
Did he actually?
Yeah.
Yeah, him and Ricky.
A Nissan Patrol, yeah.
I didn't see that. That's dangerous.
He brought Ricky Fowler, right?
Yeah.
Brought Ricky Fowler. You know, Rick, on the plane, mate.
Why is he
Jump in with me, and he just gets in his Nissan Patrol and he gets around the driver's seat and off he goes.
You think he just wouldn't drive anymore, wouldn't you, of all the stuff he's done?
Yeah, some moody clobber on as usual. Yeah, you think he wouldn't drive, wouldn't you? No. But he must be his thing.
Especially with his track record, really, behind the wheel.
Yeah, that's a good point. That he's got his license back, obviously.
Yeah.
Not saying he lost his license. I don't know that, but it was a bit of a secret meeting, and they were all apparently sworn to secrecy. But one of the reporters, Alan Shipnook, has been quite controversial, and he's did the Mickelson book and all that sort of stuff. Did a little post of some points that were chatted about. So whether he's made those up or whether he's got a source on the inside, we don't know. But what he said, so allegedly, one of the points is players discussed potential for an 18-event tour within the tour, where the top 60 players would compete in 2 WG-style events per month with $20 million purses. The remainder of the tour season would be filled in with events for lower, mid-tiered players who could get upfront money. 500 grand figure was suggested that would go against tournament winnings. Next point. The tour would relinquish in its non-profit status, which would be quite a big deal, which would open the possibility of private investments from billionaire figures such as JP McManus, where players like Tiger and Rory would have equity stakes. Next point. Pro PGA Tour players also discussed possibility of talking to LIV at some point. 7 players are set to be announced to be joining LIV after the playoffs conclude. All of them have participated in the first playoff event. What is next? I mean, there's quite a lot to unpack there. One piece that stands out to me, maybe being an ex-player, is how that guaranteed figure of $500,000 to each player. I think is something that needs to happen somewhere along the line. Golf's a top-tier sport, and the way that the PGA Tour are moving and the amount of money around, I think there should be a guaranteed amount of money once you get to the tour.
Yeah, I think because even on a Wednesday, people come and watch the practice rounds, and even on a Thursday and Friday, some of these players have still hit some shots where people are going to go home and be like, that's the best shot I've ever seen. And that they have still played their part in entertaining that crowd, and they might not go home with anything. So I do agree there should be a set price for everyone. Yeah,
is that 500k outside of earnings for the rest of the year?
Well, that kind of it says 500k figure was suggested that would go against tournament winnings. So you guaranteed that amount. Which so someone told me, again, I don't know if this is actual or not, in that some of the deals that have gone on in LIV is guaranteed money. So let's say, for instance, someone like Stenson, let's say, I don't know what his number is, but whatever his number is, let's say player A has got a $50 million signing on bonus from LIV. If they go and win 4 million, they don't get an extra 4 million. That's just part of up to 50 million.
Oh, right. Okay.
So it's guaranteed money. So it's not guaranteed money plus. It's like you're getting that, and we're taking that.
So for the lower ranked players, let's say, that join LIV, it's a slightly better deal. Than obviously it will accumulate. Deal. Yeah, different. It will accumulate. But for someone like, no disrespect at all, but someone like Laurie Cantor, that guaranteed money is very appealing, isn't it? If the number's right, as opposed to Stenson that has a bigger number but then can't claim his 4 million that he, it's
so
all
he's
part
getting whatever it is. So say what was DJ's number? Was it like 130 million, 150 million? So, he just plays golf until he gets that 100. How does that work for him? But he doesn't. He's not 150 million. Then I won this week, so I got 154 coming.
But we're not coming down the stretch. Like, this is what I don't get. So for me, the motivation in a LIV Tour event would be to earn that extra dough. Yeah. If you're going to play an event on the PGA Tour and it's got history, there's a bit of, I want to win whatever tournament it is, the FedEx or the Players' Championship, it's got history. Other people have won it, so there's something else to play for. But if you've already got the money in the bank and you're just playing a LIV event and you're not going to get the extra money, it's just coming out of what you're going to get, then what are you actually playing for?
Is that even taking it back to the pure way of winning? Just for love of the game, just for beating your mates now, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's not even about the money.
Yeah, but then,
I'm just playing devil's advocate there. It sounds weak, doesn't it? You're thinking, doesn't matter if I shoot 80 or 70, which is essentially
that's put a bit of a
what the tour is.
Yeah, I hadn't realised that. I thought that Dustin, for example,
I'm not 100% on that, but I've spoken to a couple of people who are like, yeah, that's how it works.
Yeah, that's muddied the waters for me somewhat. Yeah.
So you're not going now.
Well, I would
100%.
I'll just give it another 30 seconds thought, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's stick on the Minotaur, shall we? We'll keep it there. Yeah, it's, I don't know. It seems to be a new piece of information that comes out every week that slightly changes what you first thought, whatever.
But the PGA Tour are going to have to adapt so quick. To put that in play that quickly is it's a big job.
Well, they've got time, haven't they? Because all this stuff that's going through the courts, etc., is like 2024, is it not? They had to rule on that one most recently for the FedEx, where those 3 guys didn't get a chance to play. But I think the next, covering all the things where there's illegal, I think that's 2024. So there's a bit of time now.
If they're going to want people to stop going, they're going to have to start putting this in play.
Yeah.
Got to step on it pretty quick. Well, Greg Norman's recently come out and said that, he's got plenty of agents and players calling him now, managers, but, they kind of missed the boat a little bit. Like the early guys that went, that's where all the money has gone. Now he's got managers calling him, and he's saying that, that time has kind of passed a little bit. That's one part. Another part, like someone like Pat Perez, he's now withdrawn his name from the ongoing court case. Doesn't want to be part of it. Because I think that's another part which has come up when we chatted about it a bit last week was, the whole moving to another tour, knowing what all the ramifications are going to be, and then coming back and suing your mates and that sort of stuff. That doesn't seem to sit right.
No, that's no good.
DJ, for instance, he's moved across and he's gone, yeah, thanks a lot. And he's gone, that's kind of why he's not getting the heat. This kind of going back and, I'm moving because I want to play less and be around my family, and then I actually want to come back and play. When it suits, that doesn't sit right. That part of it, that's not cool whatsoever. So I don't know. We'll see how that all pans out. Whether this stuff from Alan Shipnook is real or not, we'll guess we will see. But I don't know. There was a bit of a baller moment in it when Tiger's it seems to have got to a point when Tiger's gone, look, I'll come and sort this out. And he's obviously got them all in a room and given them a chat. It'd be amazing to hear what he had to say and he has an interest, because if the PGA Tour does, I'm not saying it's going to fold, but that PGA Tour becomes less of a thing, then it does kind of kill his legacy a little bit. So he's got a bit of an invested interest in it.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Did you see what Rory put out there, or someone asked him? He was like, "There's definitely a GOAT or an alpha in the room, and it's not me."
Yeah, I just saw that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so true. But you can kind of see that, can't you? Like, even when Tiger and Rory play together, there's still that respect there. It's still like Rory asking Tiger questions, how do you do this or how do you do that? Or, he's trying to talk to him and Tiger's just bowling along the fairway like, all right, mate, like trying to concentrate here. There is that little piece about him. As much as Tiger's kind of, Rory's kind of top of the tree everywhere. When Tiger's not in the conversation, not at the tournament, Rory's like, he's the big draw. He's the person everyone's talking about. But yeah, as soon as Tiger turns up in his dodgy check shirt and his Nissan Patrol, he just takes over, doesn't he?
Well, even at the JP, when they're all on the range and then Tiger turns up, and that's ultimately you're in Ireland, is Rory's backyard. He's kind of the boss. Everything changes. Tiger turns up and Rory takes a back seat. Whether he does
it in
it
Ireland.
Even if he, I don't know whether it's a conscious thing, but things just do change. And yeah, they chat, but the mood, everything changes around it when he turns up. It's amazing.
Some boy.
He's at that level, isn't he? Whatever he says, people just laugh at him.
Yeah.
Whatever joke you make, the more famous you are, people will always laugh. Just gets away with it.
Talking about court cases as well, the Patrick Reed, we've got to chat about that, haven't we? The 750 million claim against Brandel Chambly
and the Golf Channel
for defamation of character or something.
Have you
like
seen
that.
this, Josh?
Unbelievable.
I haven't seen it.
So he's suing them for $750 million for defamation of character. I think is a term, because basically they've kind of gone to town on him, and they've Chambly's called him a cheat, and taken to a part of a murderous regime and all this sort of stuff. So he feels like it's damaged his profile and his reputation enough.
It's affected his earnings,
affected his earnings and so forth. So he's gone in on him, and done this court case. And there's a whole list of names that Patrick Reed's been called which you kind of know. I haven't got him in front of me, but I listened to it on the No Laying Up podcast of what he's been called while playing. And a lot of it is kind of funny. You think that would happen. There's obviously a few insults that are like way below the belt, and it's not right. But he's kind of attributing that all to because of what Golf Channel portrayed him to
stem
be.
from that. Wow.
And it's the cases against him personally, not the Golf Channel. So he's suing him for 750 million himself. And I'm not sure he's got that in the bank. So I'm not sure how that's working. It's not, as far as I'm aware, the case doesn't include the Golf Channel.
Oh, I thought it was on both of them.
From what I understood, I think it was just him.
I'm not being funny. Where's these numbers come from nowadays?
Exactly.
I feel like everything's hundreds of millions.
Yeah. That's just crazy money.
It is crazy, isn't it? Like,
we look at the career earnings of some of the best players, 750 million. Correct me if I'm wrong, but there's probably only a couple of people. Tiger is the first billionaire golfer but is there anyone that's close to 750 under that?
No, it can't be.
No. So where's he plucking 750 from?
I just don't know.
Even long term, if he looks at the length of his whole career. I'm sorry,
Walking
but
around shushing people.
Yeah, there's no chance, mate.
Yeah, it's madness, isn't it? I guess is that a thing of in legal terms where you kind of go way over and above to have the case taken seriously.
Looking for a settlement.
I don't know. And for the shock factor, I don't know. Maybe it will be, but there's something just not right about all of that.
Or him in general. He's just
he's not everyone's cup of tea, is he?
No,
Patrick Reed. I mean, whenever some of the bits I've seen, I quite liked. You don't like the fact that it becomes really questionable. Some of the move that he's made, but the problem is because he's had issues in the past. Now every little rules infraction, every time he calls the ref over for a drop, you think, oh, he's trying to nick a bit. He's trying to get a good lie there or whatever it is. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see all that all pans out. You could feel bad for him because we don't know. Has he cheated on purpose?
You never know.
What do you boys reckon?
A couple of bits he's done. I'd say so. Yeah.
The trouble is when there's more than one sort of thing that's been put on you, and I think there's more than a handful of stuff that people go on and on about. It's hard to turn a blind eye, isn't it? Everyone makes mistakes, and it can happen once, maybe twice. It may be even at his level, but you might be ignorant to the rules or not quite, or misjudge something. But I think there's so many sort of points that has his name alongside it that is on a negative side.
We played open qualifying a few years ago, me and my pal James, and there was a lad who had been done on the European Tour for breaking the rules, and he'd been suspended and so forth. So he had that pre-reputation, and halfway round we kind of got called in for like a rules infraction, for a rain delay or storm delay, and so he was in the bunker, and he marks his ball, picks it up because as you're supposed to, you mark your ball wherever it is. You go back into the clubhouse, you come back in, and you place it, and it's quite a deep bunker and whatever. And then when we come back out, we all go back out, replace the golf balls and so forth. And he just plays this money bunker shot, like flips it from underneath the lip, really high, a bit of spin, down to like a foot or 2 feet. And there's that bit of moment you think, oh, did he put that exactly back where it was? But for no other reason that because he's got history. If it was anyone else, other guys you play with, you just go, that's a good shot. But there was that tiny bit in the back of your mind thinking, I wonder if, did that go in the same spot? We'll never know, and it's very likely it did go back in the same spot.
As soon as someone's tarnished with that brush, even when you're playing as a player, playing with them, you if there is a moment where you're looking for a ball or they're doing a drop, you do just look that little bit longer or that little bit harder when you're watching them, which is not just you don't know what they say. There.
Cheaters win prizes. No, golf's not like that. Anyway, so moving on. So last week we had some golf film chat. Mark, you went on this one. What's your favourite golf film? Josh, you were
Tin Cup,
great golf film. We obviously had Slatey was Caddyshack. Mine was a film called Dead Solid Perfect.
What's the one with Will Smith in it?
Bag of Ants.
Yeah,
Bag of Ants.
Yeah.
The legend.
And also, there's the guy from Transformers, the first Transformers, the young guy. He did a great one
about the US Amateur champion.
Yeah, what
Francis Ouimet.
Yeah, so
greatest game ever played.
I'd probably say Bag of Ants though. That one with Will Smith, I thought it was quite.
Bit of you, is it?
Yeah, it was. I think Will Smith is pretty good. Like some of his stuff he's done is not so good, but like for the most part, I thought Bag of Ants was probably.
There's a bit of slapping in the face going on in this podcast now. I can't wait for that short review, saying you're going to short on Instagram and it goes up of the podcast, and there's you saying you could have slapped Max Kiefer in the face.
Yeah, could have slapped him. Yeah. God. Just wait till next time I see him. Right, we're both going for a taxi. I'm definitely going to elbow him on the way past. No, son, that's mine. You get the next one. I'm going to be a really nice guy and let him get it. Let him get it.
Reenact that Tiger advert where someone tries to nick his bag and he tackles him.
Rugby tackle.
Yeah.
Rugby tackles him.
That would be good.
So we had a little competition. It was if someone could name the caddy from Happy Gilmore's caddy in the movie, that the guy, the homeless guy that he gets on the bag, and he's obviously quite a character. And Josh Hayes wrote in, and he was able to reveal the name is. His caddy in real life, he called Jared Van Snellenberg, which is what a name that is. Not what you would have guessed, but well done, Josh. So there should be a Bear Tiger hat on its way out to you. Enjoy that. The boys will send it out for you. Boys, move. Head's gone. To Max Kiefer. He was my head's gone this week. What's your head's gone this week?
Nothing to do with golf. But have you ever ordered a Coca-Cola and it comes out and it's got lemon in it?
Yes.
And they put a slice of lemon in it. They want a slice of
lovely.
lemon Coke. No, mate. I
like
ordered a
lemon
Coke. Didn't order Coke and lemon.
What about ice? Do you have ice?
Ice is alright. It's water.
So you take Coke and water, but you don't want Coke. You don't want the lemon.
No, mate. And you get a little pip, like the seeds and stuff in it, and all the little bits. It's just that's not me. No.
It's not you.
No. Take that back.
A bit skeptical.
I actually go out of my way and order it with a slice of lime. Because very rarely do I get lucky enough that it comes out with a slice of lime. I see what you're saying. You didn't ask for the lemon.
No, you asked for your lime. That's fine. You like that.
But they don't charge extra for that, Josh.
You see the look on Josh's face. His head's actually gone.
They don't charge extra.
Nothing's
take it out.
Nothing's
spit on the floor.
But when it happened, they come out. I got a perfect moment. I'm going to save this. I got a perfect moment to rant about this, and this was it.
So will you take the lemon out?
No, I'll send it back.
You do send it back. You don't have that moment where you take the lemon out, and as you're taking it out, the pip falls in, and then you got to fish it out. You don't ever have that.
Nah, sometimes I will. Depends if Kate is with me. If she can put up with like my
proper head's gone. Mark, any head's gone?
Yeah, not related to golf. I've
Go on then.
Started driving a new car, and it's got all the modern tech, and it's got lane assist. And I haven't had enough time to really look into how to switch it off, but it is murder on the roads. Like, that thing's nearly killed me. I've only driven it about 2 or 3 times, and the lane assist has nearly killed me about 10. Won't let me turn on to the M25, won't let me come off, won't let me change lane. Like, it's in complete control.
Yeah, it's the indicator, isn't it?
You're being driven.
100%.
But if there's no one on the road, like we're saying, because I have this as well, so it's if no one's around you and you just change lane and you don't indicate, isn't it?
Yeah.
So no one needs to know that you're actually going to change lane, but it doesn't let you.
Yeah, and for the most part, I don't think anyone needs to know, even if there are people on the road when I'm in. But yeah, no, I don't know how to turn it.
Doesn't use the rearview mirror going forwards.
Exactly, at all times. But yeah, I've never had anything like that on a car before, and it's a piece of tech that I'm not looking to use in the future, but I need to spend a bit of time to learn how to switch that off.
A little button with a ring.
Yeah, red. It was green.
Oh, that's what it is. And the red,
the little ring. So keep your finger on it, and it'll just take it all off.
And then the BMW Ultimate Driving Machine becomes the ultimate driving machine.
There you
Mark
go.
Raven. So we've got a couple of little bits coming up as well. So we've got a couple of weeks. We've got our friends of Bear Tiger, just people we know in the golf industry. There's a lot of nice people in the golf industry who are, doing their thing on social media and playing a lot of golf and sharing that. So we've invited a few of them to the Wisley on the 14th of September. So we'll share that with you. Hope you boys are looking forward to it. It is going to be a bit of a competition on the day. It's a small gathering, but everyone there is pretty much serious golfers, so it's going to be slightly competitive.
Spicy.
It could get spicy.
Is it on Mill 9?
It's not going to be on Mill 9. If you're my partner, they will put it on Mill 9. Because Josh just chews up Mill 9 because he hits the ball. It's just set up perfectly where wherever he hits it, it gets wider, it gets doubly as wide at the point where he can carry it to, and we're all there just hitting like little draws and fades into the little gaps, and he just just dinks it 310 through the air, past all the trouble. So I'm going to try and manufacture Garden Church, which is the other 2 9s there. So that's exciting. Another thing I was going to chat about was part of the Bear Tiger project that we launched recently is onboarding like GOAT members. So we've got the whole Bear Tiger, Jack Nicklaus, Tiger Woods, who's the GOAT, and part of this project is you can buy in. You can get invited, but you can buy in and you become a GOAT member. being part of the GOAT member, you get your NFT of a picture of a goat sat at a desk indoors. Looks like a bit of a G.
Yeah,
and
seriously
you can,
cool, yeah.
And you can like put traits to it, so you can have, so you personalise your own goat. So I actually redid my one this week. So my goat is sat at his desk and he has a cigar in his mouth, as I do like the odd cigar very infrequently. It has a Negroni sitting on the desk.
Nice.
He's going to have a white hoodie on with a gold Bear Tiger logo, black Heart Foundation cap on backwards, and he's going to have, I've just put the Elton John like heart sunglasses on him. I was going to go wrap around Oakleys, but I've gone for the Elton Johns. Just again to go along with the old Black Heart Foundation theme, and then a white Bear Tiger golf bag. I've got Open Championship 1999 flag in the background, and then I did put one other. Yeah, I got one other image, which again it's going to be another. It's like a picture in a frame of the Black Heart, the Black Heart Foundation. So that's my goat.
You've really thought about this, haven't you?
Yeah.
And now you're going to spring it on us.
Well, I've gone.
Yet.
I've actually done it. You can give yours what. You can change it later on, but just what it would be today. And then I've actually changed my member number. So member number 1 is going to become a bit of a. He's going to become his own little character for the club, a bit like.
That's quite cool.
Remember Halifax Howard?
Yes.
Basically, he's going to be our Halifax Howard, basically. So so he's going to be member number 1, so he'll be the character. But my new member number is going to be 1999 because that was when I qualified for the Open.
Nice.
I was 16, and that was something that sat with me. So that's where mine's at. Hopefully, it will be done pretty soon. I'll be able to share that with everybody on the old socials. Josh, or who wants to go first? Josh or Mark? Who's kind of ready on this?
Well, I was just going to say, this is pretty rare though, isn't it, for an NFT to be able to customize it to this extent? Because normally you're sort of randomly given an image that's predefined, whereas this is relatively new in this space.
Yeah, exactly. Because you know people get a bit thrown away with NFTs and stuff, but this is actually a bit more fun. This is almost becomes like your own little brand, your own little logo.
Yeah,
it is yours, and you get to keep it. And then we're going to have like golf towels made up that we chatted about, Mark.
Yeah.
We chatted to a towel company, Bando Towels. Hopefully that deal gets sorted. And so on the towel will be the picture of my goat on there, and it'll be nice that each person gets their own.
It's just one of
little
one
brand.
yeah.
Because we've been looking at getting some golf bags made up. I've got a couple of Jones golf bags. Mackenzie golf bags are quite popular, and be able to have that goat put on a Mackenzie golf bag or any golf bag, if there's any decent golf bag companies out there who are good at it.
And then
something becomes yours
with the locker number as well.
The stuff with the locker number.
Yeah.
So go on then, Josh. What's yours looking like at the moment?
So on the desk, I would go for a chocolate milkshake, I think.
Right, so the desk in front of the goat that the goat sat at.
Can't go.
Chocolate milkshake. Okay.
Yeah, chocolate. I love.
So I think we've got someone's got Don Julio 42, and we've got someone's got Don Perignon.
Yeah.
You're going chocolate milkshake.
Chocolate milk, mate. Chocolate milk. And then I'm gonna see how far I can push James, or if I'm allowed to. But I'd like to go for a white fur, bit of a Yeti fur.
Okay. Yeah. I'm sure we can do that. I did ask if the fur on the goat could be changed, but that's set now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's set.
I might have to do a bit of my own artwork on that.
Colour it in yourself. Yeah. Permanent marker.
Bucket hat.
Bucket hat.
Go for a bucket with
what colour?
With some sunnies. It depends on the fur. So
I've got a purple Black Heart hat, by the way. I just changed mine. Yeah, that's what it was. So what colour?
I'd go for black bucket if I can get a white fur with some
white fur
sunnies.
jumper.
Black sunnies.
Black sunnies.
Yeah.
Black hat.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then obviously my locker number is 2222, so 2222, and that is my birthday's on the 22nd, and so is my little boy's Sam.
Right.
So that's my number for that.
Picture on the wall?
Picture on the wall. Might just have a mugshot of myself.
A mugshot, okay, fair enough. And then golf bag?
A Mackenzie number. One I'm going to make up, which I haven't done yet.
Right.
So I'm going to design a Mackenzie, and I'll have that in the back. I'm going to have to do that pretty quick, aren't I?
Yeah, decent. Right, that's Josh's 2222 locker number.
22.
Goat. Mark, go on then.
Well, so I think I'm just going to go. Well, I put 1, 2, 3, 4 down as my member number because I just genuinely couldn't.
Is that your passcode on your phone?
Yeah. I'm not saying anything.
Pin code for his credit card.
Yeah, that's my go-to number. So what else can we do? If instead of a hat, I was thinking, could I get a race helmet over? That might be.
The helmet would go with the face, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
I've got an idea.
I wonder whether we can push that.
can we change the table to some decks?
Well, I was going to say like
Decks on
maybe
the
there's
table.
something like that, or or maybe the table that's at the back where the picture is on the wall. Maybe I can have it on there.
There you go.
So yeah, if we could push the boat out and get a helmet on the covering, that might be quite unique.
Yeah.
If I can't do that, maybe just a simple 5-panel with the lifestyle logo.
What, a 5-panel hat?
Yeah.
Right, okay.
With
There's a
the
certain
lifestyle.
cap that the boys go and seem to like. Okay, cool.
Yeah, and if that has to be, then I'd just go with the lifestyle TBTC logo
Yeah,
rather
nice.
than the paw. And then what have we got? We've got a bag in the background.
Bag, yeah, golf bag.
Yeah, it'd be some sort of single strap number, but I think probably some sort of unique colour, like some Dazzle camo.
Ooh.
It's just that new Zero kit just come out, didn't it, with the Dazzle camo design, which is I think is really cool if you get the colour scheme right. Drink on the table. I mean, can't go for tap water, can I? That's my.
I should
You should get a tap water.
Yeah,
that is just you.
well, exactly. Yeah.
Right back to
Coke with lime.
nightclubbing 22 years ago. Mark would just go out. What do you want, mate? Tap water's fine. And it's still the same today.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, yeah, I just haven't found my drink. Put it that way.
You found it.
Although
Tap
I
water.
tell you what, the last few months has pushed me. I think I might be trying a few more drinks.
Like, put a bit of lime in there.
Yeah, well, there you go. Push the boat out. What other traits have I missed? Is there anything? Maybe in the picture in the background. You know, like your head cover where you've got like the stick people of the family. I'd probably do something like that, like BB, Natalie, Reggie, just
Nice.
something like that.
Like it.
Yeah, nothing. Unless I'm missing in it. I'm sure you can add some other bits.
Get
in,
designing.
Exactly.
Get designing.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. You happy with yours, Josh? You keep looking over as if, now
I'm still
thinking. About
thinking.
this, now
My
I'm
brain's
thinking about this.
ticking. Yeah, exactly.
I think it's one of those where you sit down in front of it and you take a look at what you can do, and you can really mess
Go
about.
from there.
Yeah.
All right, nice one. Well, that's run pretty long. We're going to do an ideal what's in the bag, but we'll keep that for next time.
Okay.
We'll save that. So that was the end of part 2. So to make that one relatively long-ish podcast of about an hour and 10 minutes. But good chatting to you, boys.
Ledge.
Do it again next week. And even though Slaty's not here, he would like to say like, subscribe, and follow all the different comment on all the different channels at Bear Tiger. You can find on the profiles. There's a link tree somewhere. I don't know what's a link tree. We'll let him do it next week. He'll love it. Anyway, so like and subscribe us, and we'll see you all soon.
Cheers, boys.
Peace.